Joining conference now. Begin, or while we wait.
Hello. Am I in the den of lions? Well then, you ferocious beasts. If I'm on the line, then you're on the air. How are you?
Doing well, thanks.
There's this pause like, did he just say we should sound interesting now? Okay, wait a second. Congratulations to you guys. I've seen, I'm not patting myself on the back, but I've seen how the media has grabbed the attention of your show, as well they should. You have, I think, 5 reviewers already clamoring to see your show. And the press has been wonderful, and just reading up all about it, I'm very excited about it. And I'm a macabre lover, so needless to say, you had me with it sounding like Black Mirror. So tell our listeners about the show. Firstly, introduce yourselves, because we have a whole group of you there. So introduce yourselves and tell us about the show.
Okay. Let's go in alphabetical order, right?
There you go.
All right. So, hi, Jay. Thank you for having us on. And this is Lucia Bellini. I go by Lou, please. I'm the director for Abdication. And I give it away to Trenton, if we go in alphabetical order.
And hi, everyone. And Jay, thanks for having us on. My name is Trenton Clark, and I am one of the 3 producers for the show, and I also get to act in the show a little bit as well. So I'll be there holding the audience's hand all the way from pre-production through the show itself. So we're very excited.
Cool.
Hey, this is Naya James. Thank you, Jay. I'm really excited about the podcast. I am the writer of the show. I'm also producing with these 2 lovely people, and I'm acting in it as well.
Excellent. You guys are so smart on the first level, because I see no competition between the 3 of you, because you have a director, you have an actor, you have a writer, and you're all the producers. So right there already, that explains the energy that's coming from you guys. You're all the Avengers, for heaven's sake. You're all fighting on the same team, which is absolutely wonderful. Now you're doing a show with a really intelligent title, Abdication, and it is 3 tales. I won't say futuristic. I'll just say 3 cautionary tales of what can happen when we seem to give up as much of ourselves and much of our freedom. Share with us a little bit more about the show.
Sure, I can take that one. So I guess the idea behind Abdication is that just kind of looking around where we are in the present days, there are just more and more opportunities for people to kind of check out, right? Like, even if you're talking about walking down the street and people like watching a movie on their phone versus looking at their surroundings, or if it's just a matter of like, oh, I'm going to stay in tonight and watch TV versus go out and like hang out with my friends or my family. So it kind of came out of that, and basically what abdication is so, the term would mean to kind of give up or renounce something. So this idea of renouncing your sort of responsibilities in life. And it can happen, gradually. It can happen in a formal manner, as we talk about people renouncing their own kind of thing. But the whole idea is we're born as people in this world, and that comes with a certain set of responsibilities to kind of show up for life. And more there are opportunities to not show up for life. So this is a commentary, and it's a little comedic too. It's a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek view on what happens if people decide to abdicate in maybe a more severe or acute way in certain aspects of their life, and what it does to society in general, and what it does to the people closest to them.
I think your observations in terms of being a playwright are really brilliant, because just from the general notion, one of them is reminiscent of *Handmaid's Tale*, because everyone is suddenly now colorified from what the description showed, which is what we do nowadays. We all become numbers. I don't know how many times I'll get on the phone with customer service for anything, and all they want to know is the last 4 digits of my social security number, or if I have the code that was sent to me in an email 3 weeks ago. Nobody cares about my name anymore, so that's quite brilliant. You had another one that deals with virtual reality, that someone not happy with their lives decided they're going to check in to the virtual world. And we see nowadays how reality is so blurred. People, the notion of what is real simply by what internet troll has to say online is scarily important. And I won't get political, but let's just say we hear one thing from a leader, and it's not reality at all. And the third piece, what is the third piece again? You had one. You had one about.
Sorry, go ahead, Ben.
No, I was just going to say you had one about colorization, one about virtual reality, and the third piece.
Yeah, Lou, you want to go ahead and tell them about lobotomy? Yeah,
That's the one. That's the one.
Yeah, lobotomy, as we call it, talks about exactly that, which means that people maybe one day will be able to completely remove little parts of their brain that help them, so that they're helped not to deal with what they do not want to deal with. In this case, feelings and specific love and romantic feelings in order to make their life easier, quote unquote. And I'm not sure if it's something that scientists are actually working on already, but I'm not seeing it as a too far out idea eventually, in the future. And that's what it's about, and how these people eventually deal with the choice of whether to go through with abdicate their right to feel, or one day.
I'm hearing that so often in so many different phrases. There's a whole movement of people who've decided since they can't get a date, they won't get a date, and they're just going to give up, any kind of romantic entanglement. Then there's the statistics all over the place about how people are having much more internet intimacy than actual physical intimacy, and the birth rate of children is going down a little bit more. It's really scary. Now, Lou, while you're grabbing the conversation here, I wanted to ask you. You have 3 scary tales. It is so easy, and people think it's a simple genre. It's not. It is so easy to turn cautionary tales, to turn macabre tales into something too funny, or something too campy, or something just unpleasant and unreal. What are you doing as director to make sure that these pieces are scary and stunning at the same time?
Well, honestly, I can take very little credit for it, because honestly, I was blessed with very, very great character development and work from Naya, our playwright. Yeah, no, seriously, I mean, it all starts there. And
see, I told you 3 are a love fest. It's amazing. I'm sorry, keep going.
What?
He said we're a love fest, and it's true.
No, we are, but it is true, because, I mean, then it becomes my job, not to screw that up in a way, you know what I mean? And to just, keep it simple and really stick to what's human, and what the human behaviors behind, no matter what the situation is. If we're talking about, a crazy situation where we can get lobotomized but to not ever feel love and romantic feelings anymore, great. I just have to keep it grounded and, play with the big what if, and put myself in those shoes and help the actors put themselves in those shoes as well, without mocking at it or without pushing at it, And, I mean, they are very out there tales and a little bit scary, but, I mean, it's all things that we can look at and say, oh my God, this could happen maybe 5 years, 10 years. Did this happen 5 years ago and we're just still digesting it? So, yes, I hope this makes sense.
I am so glad you said that, because there's so many moments where people sit down and say, oh, that'll never happen, and instead it's been happening for years, if not decades. So you're rooting everything in the reality that you have on that page. You're not adding anything to it. It's simply, this can happen, this might happen, and if we're not careful, it will happen.
Yes. And again, the characters that Naya writes usually have a very distinct, personality and human element to them, no matter where they find themselves. So that helps me and the actors a whole lot.
Excellent. Now, speaking of the actors and speaking of the human element, Trenton, you have the good fortune to be you're in how many of these tales?
Well, I make an appearance in a couple of capacities in two of the specific tales. Although neither one of those appearances will be live on stage. We've added a lot of elements to this show that are sort of challenging of the status quo of how people take theater in, and it's all relative to abdication and our willingness to use devices of any kind to escape ourselves or the world around us. But I have the distinct pleasure of serving as the entire show's narrative force.
Oh, excellent.
And I get to introduce the play.
Oh, excellent.
And, so I sort of serve as this physical embodiment of a private curator for the audience. And there's some fantastically fun elements in that part of the show that we get to play with. I've drawn inspiration from characters like ringleaders of the circus, Barnum and Bailey types, and some of the larger personalities that have been a part of the hosting history of the entertainment world. We've talked about Johnny Carson, and we've talked about anybody who's ever hosted an awards ceremony, and those have all kind of influenced the creation of this character who is in charge of guiding the audience through these tales.
Wow.
We use a little song and dance to do it too.
Okay, so I have two thoughts going through my brain. Number one, so you're taking it more from that, and that makes it extra creepy. Oh my gosh, you're taking it more from you're almost lampooning the commercial aspect of things, by being the Johnny Carson, by being the David Letterman up there. Because I was drawing the breath to say, are you the Rod Serling of this production? And looking at your resume picture, you have his hair, so there you go, you could. But so you're taking it more from making people laugh, and then when they stop laughing, they suddenly realize what they're laughing at. You're giving them that. Oh, you think it's funny? Okay, go look in the mirror.
Right. There's a lot of that. I mean, it's something that through this development has been just loaded with different discoveries about where we could be coming from. And I think a big part of this has been putting our whole production together, has been really paying attention to Lou's greater vision, and really paying attention to what Naya has done in the scripts that are those three individual tales, and how those should influence the way that the audience's experience is going to go. And I don't want to be too much of an impactor on that. We want those plays to stand, those episodes to stand for what they are.
Oh, of course.
But the narrator has a commentary of his own.
Excellent.
And a couple of very ominous-looking attendants to assist him. So it's definitely got a little bit of Rod Serling, trust me with a wink in my eye kind of feel to it. But I entrust the audience will have a variety of experiences at this show. There will be laughter and a lot of uneasy reflection at the same time.
I think that's really inspired, because that's what we're suffering through now. We have these ads that make us feel all warm and lovely until we realize just how much money they're taking from us for nothing. So you're really hitting people where they need to be hit. And from what I'm hearing, you're also the other futuristic end of your show is the fact that you have multimedia, you have musical moments, you have dance moments, you have animation, you have film segments. Holy mackerel. Guys, you're in a festival. Just do the show and go home. I think this is amazing. I remember years ago on Broadway, Andrew Lloyd Webber had a musical, The Lady in Green, The Lady in White, The Lady in, I don't even remember what the lady's color was, but he had film sequences going on behind the actors, and everyone thought how innovative that was. And that's Broadway. Now, you guys, being in the indie world, you have a different kind of budget, you have a different kind of obstacle path, if you will. How was it to put together, or you're doing it even as we speak, how was it to get all of these elements together into one cohesive show? You all suddenly got unhappy. You all went, "Oh yeah, that's right. We have to put it together."
I can totally agree, and also because I feel like most of it is my fault. No, actually, no, I'm sorry. I am not a masochist, but no, actually, okay. So the TV element was born by the necessity of actually telling the clear story of the love lobotomy people, which is the second segment, which happens into two different time occurrences, meaning the present, and then either flashbacks or otherwise. And we, of course, had to use the same actors, or at least, we don't know, twin actors. And you know what I mean? So that was a challenge, and considering, I don't know, maybe because I do have a background with video, and I have worked in multimedia shows before, it came to me quite quickly. So I was like, okay, we just need to add a film element to this. And then, Naya and I, about a year ago or so, had already discussed the idea of adding some animation elements to the college, to the other colored episode. And then you see all of these then little elements kind of came together, and it became clear. I was like, all right, I guess we'll have to, bring a lot of other multimedia elements into it. And I mean, honestly, concept-wise, it makes sense. It makes sense to me because of the of what the plays are about, right?
Right.
Technology and like higher powers and robots, if you will, not robots, but technology kind of taking over human things. The multimedia element is there to remind us of that.
Now, you said something very interesting. You said that you had no choice. This is what helps your show. Okay, production scheme aside, do you think this is the future of indie theater? Do you think multimedia? Because there's so many festivals, there's so many shows that go up in indie theater. We rival Broadway and off Broadway times 10 many times. And do you think like from now on it's like, what do you mean you don't have TV elements? What do you mean you don't have animation? Do you think it's reaching the point as simple as lighting and curtains?
I hope it doesn't become the future of theater just for the sake of becoming the future of theater, because we need to see a screen wherever we go. I see a lot of plays without multimedia, and if the writing is great and the acting is great and the directing is great, even if it's a simple set, and you don't need the multimedia to tell the story,
Good for you.
You don't need the multimedia. It's all there to serve the story. I don't think multimedia just for the sake of having multimedia is going to help anybody.
Okay, good.
If I could jump off of that, at the same time, we've watched innovators like Julie Taymor bring things to the stage that were never done. And in the last couple of decades, we've seen how much bigger and grander theater can be. And then, we have shows like Hamilton, which again completely redefine what is a Broadway show. And technology has been really important on Broadway as far as video and projections and lighting in recent years, because it's become so elemental in our everyday lives. It's an easy way to link with the audience because they understand that experience. And many of them go home and they seek that experience.
Mm-hmm.
And our show kind of has sort of like a retroactive feeling love-hate with technology. It's there, and we comment a little bit about how it's going to develop moving forward, but we also look back and we talk about, what we've dreamt about our technologies being in the past, and then the reality of what they became. And I think when you look around at life and you compare the past with what you want or with what you see now, that bittersweet element is always there, and that's one of the things that I love about the multimedia in our show, is it came about so naturally. And it's also there to deliver on the depth of the experience in the theater and help deliver the humor that is there and help, hold that mirror up to us when we have to do those ugly reflecting moments about the show's greater themes. So I think it's crucial to us. But it'll be interesting to see how theater as a whole moves forward throughout the years. We're starting to see tactile theater, hands-on theater. And that's something that it's always done, is it's always transformed itself, and it will continue to do that. So we're happy to be a part of that change.
So from what I'm hearing from you guys is, it's not so much bringing in the multimedia, but bringing in some form of innovation, some form of newness, if you will, to a production that indie theater has to keep striving to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Lou really hit the nail on the head when she said, ultimately it has to serve the story. In our show, our tech or our TV is very much an additional character. It has a presence on purpose. It has a very specific presence. So I think the whole idea is exactly what she said. Let's not do stuff just for the sake of doing it, or to have things be different just for the sake of being different. We did not go into it thinking that, we're going to throw all of these crazy elements at it just because it will be fun and it will impress people. Not at all. Every step of the way, it was like, okay, this is absolutely going to enrich the story, and this is going to add to what's going on overall. So, there is a little bit, I think, of an onus when you're doing a new original production in independent theater to really blow people away by something that's different. I do think that you can do that just with a good story, and I really also hope that, I think Shakespeare is going to be around forever, and it's because it has those timeless themes that we can all identify with, and we're just telling the same types of stories that we hope people will resonate with in all kinds of different ways.
Good for you. Good for you. Last question, and this gets the logistical. Festivals. Festivals have changed immensely. Lou, I know you from one of the premier festivals of New York, Planet Connections, and festivals have changed immensely over the last few years. The skyline of festivals is completely different, even in the way things run. Whether you want to reference the festival you're in, which is the Dream Up Festival at Theater for the New City, or just festivals in general, how has it been now to be in a festival? If an actor came to you, and I've had many who come to me and say, okay, I have a play, I want to put it in a festival. What do I do? What would you tell them in terms of festivals in New York? Oh, yeah, that cool. You'll go, all right, now what do I say here that doesn't have the word?
I'm going to say number one, get a team together before you even go into it that you can really rely on and that you can count on. I personally feel extremely lucky in the people that we're all talking to right now. And then also just with some supporting staff that we've had along the way, absolutely would not have been possible.
I agree.
So the main thing is get your soldiers together. Make sure your army is a competent bunch. So whatever comes after that is easy to fix, if you will.
Certainly easier to handle.
There you go.
With a festival, you've got so many shows, and then you've got the generous presenters and their teams who get together to manage things from their side. So there's so many moving pieces. And the more moving pieces there are, the easier it is to forget something or just to miss something entirely. But having that team, that was absolutely crucial with us. Everybody threw all in. And it's the only way that we've managed to get it done, because the pace of this, how many weeks has this been, Lou? We're talking 9, 10 weeks, maybe?
Yeah.
from inception and pre-production to rehearsing and then our opening next week.
It started in April. Yeah.
It happened fast.
I concur with you completely, and I think it's very wise of you all to say that, because so many times I listen, I'll go to seminars and things like that regarding festivals and whatever, and I'll hear remarks like, "Oh, well, have your money, and then fill out your form, and then contact." But no one has the smartness to simply say, "Okay, get a team of people who all believe in the project as hard as you do, so that whatever comes along, you're just like you guys are you're all holding hands and getting it together." I think that's the simplest and the wisest maneuver anyone could make. Well said. So what's next for this show? This could be a biggie. Are you where do you hope it goes?
The sky's the limit. Keep developing it. I mean, if the show resonates with people and people want to continue to support it, we want to continue to develop it. And finding a place where we can call home would be a fantastic start to that. And just garnering general support from the theater community to see something like this get up on its feet.
So you're thinking of an open-ended run somewhere, or at least an extended run at another theater somewhere. Plant it into another theater and let it just live its life.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Again,
I mean, there's all the elements we have, married to this as of right now would benefit from having a space to call our own, for sure. Yeah.
Again, that's very astute of you. I hear so many people say, "Oh, I want to put it on Broadway, and Nathan Lane will be in it." So it's great that you're sitting here again, and it says everything about the material itself. You're saying, okay, we're preparing for a good future, wherever that future happens to be, which is essentially what your show's about. Here's what the future will be if you abdicate. Now, imagine if you just stepped into life, what the future could possibly be. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I look forward to this show. I'm sure the audience does. This is going to be a blast. I hope not only do you fill the houses, but you fill the minds of every member of that audience. Thank you all very much. I will make sure our listeners know exactly where, how.
Jay.
My pleasure. Thank you all so much, and I will talk to you soon. Give them hell.
Yes, we will. Take care.
Ciao.
Bye.